Howdy everyone, and welcome back to Runt9 Plays Nova Drift. I'm showing you the screen of the 7-minute run that is not making it to YouTube because I guess 36 hours away from this game is enough to completely forget how to play well. We had a pretty unfortunate early dart build that just didn't quite work. You know what? I haven't done a grenade run in a while, and grenade runs can be quite fun. We're gonna do probably a decline gear swap there and just go for, you know, your basic Gemini protocol essence sap kind of setup. Essence sap works great once you start stacking up, you know, splinter and blast radius and charge shot and all that kind of stuff. So we'll do a fairly standard run. You know, you're gonna pick up charge shot, and man, this run might not make it to YouTube either since I am failing miserably. I am completely unable to dodge at the moment. All right, what do I want here? I mean, assault is a really good one to have. We'll go a little bit glass cannon on this one. I'm kind of okay with that. We'll start with some shield cooldown, and honestly, bravado on assault is kind of hilarious because it really lets us throw out the grenades faster in the early game, and then when we get to charge shot, it charges up a big grenade faster, and you love to see it. Plus, if we do decide to pick up more grenades and you know, go the twin strike route, then having a lowered projectile spread makes it a lot easier to hit targets instead of having the grenades, you know, going every which direction. So definitely need to get into the magnitude tree immediately. Splinter is far and away the most important thing on a grenade build. Targeting really doesn't help that much. I'm gonna re-roll that. I mean, an early charge shot is just huge. That immediately sets this run on a positive course, and then we can really focus on survivability for a bit. We're gonna want rupture and, you know, the blast radius tree. We're gonna want probably corrosion before too long. That's a big one. Rancor is obviously important. And if we could pull off some self-damage, that'd be great. But since we're going assault instead of firefly, I really don't want to deal with self-damage unless we get lucky with some wild mods. All right, a little bit spiced here. Give me a good charge up, and oh, that was off screen. I'm not against taking warp strike on this build, but I don't think I'm going to prioritize it. Warp strike can be fun on grenade runs, but it's not a necessity. Getting blast radius, getting into skirmish, concentrated blast. You can go the antimatter rounds route, but I prefer going more singular strike and not having the self-damage on this one. Grabbing power reserves is obviously good for dealing with the charge shot thrust slowdown. Obviously, core shielding could be good if we go a self-damage route, but I'm just going to re-roll that. Let's go for high explosive, and then, I mean, you'll love to see an obsession. If we go twin strike or go into burst fire or things like that, you know, there's a lot of different things that obsession opens up. And I mean, we're going all in on the glass cannon setup at the moment, which, I mean, we'll see pretty quickly if it's going to go good or bad for us. We're going to need essence sap sooner rather than later. Also, I realize that I've said sooner rather than later like a million times in the past few videos, or the past few weeks, really. So if that annoys you, I do apologize. I get in these situations where I end up having a word or phrase that I tend to repeat a lot for maybe a few weeks or a month or two at a time. And then it just disappears and I stop saying it for a long time. Grab some max hull. So definitely starting off with charge shot, blast radius, splinter. I mean, we've got the fundamentals of a good grenade run. We just got to start putting the pieces together. Incendiary strike can be good since that first grenade. If we do rock only the one grenade, then singular strike with incendiary strike can actually put in a lot of work. Going into candescence, grabbing corrosion, all that good stuff. What am I looking for at this point? You know, honestly, probably going the Juggernaut route, just because building with Assault is very dangerous if you're not careful, and I want to get our survivability up pretty quickly. Plating obviously opens up Rancor. We don't need Revelation since we have Obsession. Yeah, we'll go ahead and grab Juggernaut here, and then let's definitely grab Payload for even more projectile size and blast radius, all that good stuff, and increased weapon damage. Now we're doing some serious hurt on these enemies. We've got Terminate, so this guy is not going to be a problem at all. There's Singular Strike, and so because Splinter factors in after the fact, it lowers the damage of the splinters, but increases the damage of the initial grenade, which is what I care about mostly, since the initial grenade is the one that's going to do the most damage and is going to end up triggering Incendiary Strike, like I mentioned. You can see just how much damage we can output at the moment, and that's without adding in, you know, a full Rancor charge or anything like that. So that was a super easy Omega kill. This is definitely starting off in a positive way. You saw we kind of went off the edge there. That's kind of what I was talking about with Warp Strike being not the worst idea in the world, but it's one of those that it's like, it's more of a luxury than a must-have in a traditional charge shot grenade run. So the damage, though, is definitely in a good spot. Let's kind of see where we're at, because we got a Baby Jug here. This will give us a good idea of, you know, how our overall damage output is. So I think that was 4 grenades to kill a Baby Jug. I feel pretty positive about that. We can kill the mini chompers in 1 grenade hit. So adding Incendiary Strike on top of this is definitely something that I want to get fairly quickly, as well as adding Corrosion and Rupture to the mix. There's Rancor, obviously something that is huge for a grenade run. Force Armor helps our survivability. You know, Velocity plus Calibrate kind of gets us into being able to get a little bit of projectile targeting without really dipping into the tree. But I also really want to get to Incendiary Strike. Yeah, go ahead and give me Calibrate, honestly. Calibrate plus Charge Shot works out pretty well. And you can see that it really does help adding that into the mix. This guy should be a 1-hit. It is a 1-hit. And when you deal with the little guys, you don't even have to do a full shot. You do have to hit them, though, is the thing. I would highly recommend, if you're going to play this game, that hitting enemies is probably in your best interest. Usually is not a good idea to miss, as it turns out. But I don't think we have Essence Sap yet. Have we picked that up? I think we're still sitting on regular regeneration. Shield cooldown, I believe we have upgraded, but we do need just general shield increase. A shield durability increase specifically. Now I know that one thing that's been pretty popular since the Genesis update came out is running charged mines with grenade and splinter and all that good stuff. And while I do like that, I found that it is more just hilarious from a, you know, hey look, I filled the entire screen with grenades perspective. It isn't as powerful as Pulse or Torrent grenades, or mortars, I should say. So Defiance is where I start thinking about, all right, maybe we should consider adding in some self-damage to the mix. But I think Incendiary Strike is too big to pass up. Also Essence Sap and Rupture. And so now we're gonna start really popping off. That took about a quarter of the Scion's health with 1 hit. And so 1 more grenade. 2 more grenades, correction. Our damage output is definitely getting quite high. Being able to one-shot those guys is a very good perk. So we have plating. I don't worry as much about these guys once we do have plating, but we don't have, you know, screen filling wave clear at the moment. So we do have to worry about them, you know, being in different corners of the screen. We just tanked a Comet to the face. Here's our first Celestial. We did one-shot a basic Celestial, and that's an incredibly positive sign for where we're at. And definitely tells me, like, let's just focus on survivability for a while. You know, unless we get some weapon mods that we just can't pass up, just make sure that we don't die, because this run has everything it needs otherwise to be successful. I don't think I want to go the burst fire route, even though it can end up being pretty powerful. I will consider Twin Strike, however. Definitely get me to Gemini Protocol. I mean, Mastery will still be there. I want to make sure to take Gemini because, like I said, I want to focus on survivability for at least a few mods. Unless we see, you know, a rare wild mod that we have to pick up, like a Twin Strike. If I see Twin Strike, I think I would take it at this point just because what it adds to the run is significantly more than what it takes away from the run. So we've got a single Spitfire here. What can we do against him? It's not a one-shot. I can't see his health bar. It is a two-shot. Let's get out of there. Power Reserve's probably something that would be good to pick up because Juggernaut has reduced our thrust quite a bit. Dipping into the thrust pool would kind of open up the Warp Strike opportunities for us as well. And again, you know, Warp Strike is one of those that at this point I would highly consider, especially if we do pick up a Twin Strike or two. Which, it would be 2 Twin Strikes since we have Obsession. Yeah, the thrust reduction with Rancor added in has been a little troubling. Okay, we tanked a bunch of cluster mines to the face there. How about we don't do that and say we did. Get to the other side of the screen, dodge as many of them as possible, because the cluster mine projectiles do degrade over time if you do it correctly. All right, where are we at now? So we've got Incendiary Strike, so grabbing Candescence and Corrosion is another good place to start looking. Heavy Caliber. The thing is, you know, I do want to be careful with Obsession. The minus 1.25%, at this point, it's basically minus 2.5% every time we take a recursive mod. We're already sitting at minus 1.25 from Bravado. Now, granted, Bravado essentially overrides it with the bonuses that it provides, but the thing is, Heavy Caliber, it's going to be 20% projectile size. It ends up being just so massive for grenade runs. Honestly, Polar Inversion is a great pickup as well. Increased blast radius, and it pulls enemies into the grenade after it explodes, which keeps them closer for the clusters that pop out. And that ends up being a DPS increase because you're able to stick the grenades to enemies more easily. So we don't want to get sucked in, obviously. All right, it's wave 80 already. I feel like we've gotten there quicker than I'm used to getting there. The game actually lagged there. That is a lot of damage. That was 3 grenades to take out the wave 80 boss, and I forget what it's called. I need to memorize all the names. I've got some of them memorized. Yeah, so Heavy Caliber, more than worth it. You can see just the insane damage output we're looking at. We are still very much in a glass cannon state. I would like to pick up Power Reserves. That would be kind of nice to have. All right, you know what? Give me a big Rancor charge up, and then how about you actually dodge some of this stuff for once, though? We are taking a large amount of damage here. We do have Essence Sap, but not able to get a full charge. Please don't charge me. All right, now we can throw out some big grenades onto the jug. We do have Essence Sap, right? Yeah, we have picked that up. So stabilization, I want to get into Power Reserves. It feels very important at this point. Shield durability, gonna be good. We have the Gemini protocol to aid with that. Honestly, I think getting into Rate of Fire, just so we charge up a little bit faster, it's gonna be beneficial for us in the long run, since having the longer delay between charging can really throw off your overall flow of what you're trying to do. Because now we can get grenades out there just that much faster. And you see, like, Polar Inversion drawing enemies into the blasting, the grenades helps out so much with AoE. Because again, like, we don't have screen filling AoE at the moment, but we're getting closer as we add on more of these mods, plus the plus 15% blast radius on Polar Inversion doesn't hurt either. Right, we got a full charge ready. That's an easy kill there. That's an easy kill there. We got hit by a comet. You hate to see that. Can I get some power reserves, please? No. How about we add projectile targeting? And I actually will consider guidance. I think it's only a minus 5% rate of fire decrease, but making it to where if we miss, we have a little bit of leeway. Our grenade will kind of find its way there. Yeah, I'm already seeing the effects of that. That's going to be a beneficial pickup. So guidance, improved thrusters, heavy caliber, all good pickups. I think corrosion is going to be the biggest benefit, though. Let's see what we can do against a champion celestial. We can 2-hit it, and we didn't even direct hit the first time. All right, hold on. Hold your horses. Give me a full Rancor charge on the Scion. And give me a little bit more. All right, now actually dodge his laser, though. So we're almost to wave 100. I think that this should be a fairly easy Seraph kill, if and only if we get power reserves first. I don't think we're beating the Scion with, or Seraph without power reserves. And the reason I say that is because I don't think we can pivot around the lance that he shoots and shoot him in return with the current setup we've got. I need just a little bit more XP. Okay. I'm gonna re-roll until we see a power reserves. There it is. All right, now I think we've got a Seraph kill. Confirmed. Now we can dodge the lance, but just barely. So that tells me that for sure we would not have been able to do this before without a little bit of luck. But you can see the damage is fantastic, and we got a power-up. So at this point, it's just dodge his crash damage, which, you know, we kind of took a little bit at the end there, and then just a final direct hit to really seal the deal. I love polar inversion on grenades. It's so perfect for getting the splinters, doing extra damage and extra AoE. Easy Scion kill. So this is definitely something that I see being million plus capable. You know, I do feel like our survivability could use a little bit more of a bump, but I definitely think that this is a run that should be able to hit 1 million. At this point, I'm pretty committed to this being a YouTube run, so this one will not get yeeted into the stratosphere. But I still want to make sure that I put up something good. You know, at 345, it's a fine score, but it's not a good score. I want something good to put up. Reroll that one. You know, adaptive armor, it is a damage resistance modifier. It is tempting, but I'm going to reroll and keep looking for some better stuff here. I actually think guidance, lowering projectile velocity isn't that bad. It actually makes our splinters not go as far out, but it makes them target in on enemies better. So potentially better AoE, potentially not better AoE, depends on who you're fighting. We just took a comet to the face. Yeah, polar inversion once again putting in good work. Trying to dodge those mines. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the other side here because I don't want the jug to charge us. So if we get a full charge, that's some good damage. Could only be 3 or 4 shots to take him down at this point. Yeah, I think that was the 4th shot. So obviously you love being able to take a jug down in only a few hits. They're really annoying to deal with if you don't take them down quickly, because then they end up persisting into another wave, and you know how bad that can be. All right, Warpath is actually a pretty good pickup. It ends up making your second charge better, and I actually kind of like that in this case. Kinetic boost, I don't think it's going to be good. I would actually be okay with thrust mod, but I think now is probably the right time to pick up mastery. Just make every aspect of our weapon better. That was a total whiff. There's some XP down here we should pick up. Easy kill there, and easy kill there. I mean, also, let's totally just tank the fire to the face. You got a little bit going on, but you know what? Go ahead, meet me in the center, and I'll grenade the whole lot of you. I'm not scared of you one bit. But yeah, this is exactly what I want out of a grenade run. I'm excited to see how far I can push this one, because it has been a while since I've done this. You know, I don't think that I've done a grenade run since I've gotten a little bit better at the game and have started pushing million plus on most of my serious runs. And so I'm very interested to see where we can end up getting to as kind of an upper limit. And, you know, again, like I definitely see this as a million plus capable run, but it definitely has to be piloted correctly. And I don't know if I have enough experience with grenades at this point to pilot it completely correctly. That remains to be seen. Alright, I'm gonna take a little bit of Rancor damage there, but that ended up being a one-shot on a Scion. You don't hate that. You never hate one-shotting a boss of any kind, but especially like a Scion is a good boss to be able to one-hit. Because that makes Wave 200 a lot easier. If you can get the Scion out early, then you can just sit there and focus on dealing with the Seraph and his dirty, dirty lance. So we are sitting on another heavy caliber here if we want it. And even though it gets a little spicy, adding more obsession into the mix, I'm going to go for it. And then give me improved thrusters. I want to deal with some of the slowness that we have going on. You can just see how big our grenades are now. They're absolutely massive. And yeah, the projectile velocity is low, but we have calibrate. We have a good chunk of the velocity tree in general. So it's actually still going far enough, in my opinion. And yeah, these waves can be a little problematic at times, but we're dealing with it pretty well. Definitely still not feeling super confident about the current shield durability and cooldown, but I don't think I'm gonna worry too much about it, so as long as Essence Sap keeps doing what it's doing for our hull. That's a Comet. Definitely dodge that, please and thank you. All right, double Celestial, and I totally whiffed on a shot there. There we go. That was a straight up double kill with just a single grenade. Yeah, the heavy calibers were a good call. As dangerous as it might be, as glass cannony as this build is really sitting at, being able to one-shot a double Celestial champion, or a double champion Celestial wave is just massive. Because the number of times that I've died to double champion Celestials is like way higher than just about anything else, except maybe Seraph at this point. Oh, that ended up not doing quite what I wanted it to do. These guys should be full one-shot. Yeah, they're a one-shot yeet. Get down there and kill the railgun shooters. I ended up having a really bad charge and then a really bad positioning on the first shot. So I actually think that like getting more projectiles would be a very ideal scenario, just so we can get even more screen clearing greatness. Like that, dealing with that wave is going to be problematic for us as time goes by, just because we can't get from one corner to the other very easily. And yeah, polar inversion can do a lot for us there, but it doesn't do enough. Got an upgrade here. I mean, the problem with convergence is it lowers projectile size, and I don't think that I want to deal with lowering projectile size. We've got some rerolls here, so I'm not going to be afraid to use them a little bit. Horse armor is obviously a good pickup. There's a twin strike, though. That added on to obsession. Now we are cranking at a full 9,000 RPM. The rotary engine is putting in its maximum capacity, which actually would be more than 9,000 if it's a rotary engine, but, you know, details. So that's an easy Celestial kill. That's an easy Celestial kill. He says as the Celestial doesn't die. We have a very low projectile spread, and now I'm actually kind of curious as to why our damage has gone down. I guess maybe because we're not getting full charges when I've been letting these go. It didn't lower rate of fire or anything, so maybe I'm just missing something. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Our DPS just seemed to tank there. Cluster count scales with projectile size divided between projectiles fired. So I guess we had less clusters, and maybe that's what happened? I think that must be what happened, is we kind of... Oh, you know what it was? I ruined it by adding projectiles on top of singular strike. So we went from having plus 25% total weapon damage size and blast radius to having minus 5%. That's what killed us. So it was a good run that gives you a good look at what grenade runs could potentially look like for us in the future, but I did ruin it with the twin strike. That was kind of a stupid decision. If we didn't have singular strike, it might have been an overall increase, but I ruined it with that. We should not have picked up any twin strikes. So, oops. Twin strike bad. You know what? You kind of get the point. Oops, twin strike bad. So that's going to do it for this episode. In the next one, hopefully I don't make as stupid of a mistake and we end up getting another million+ run. But until the next episode, thank you so much for... Let me hit my microphone real hard there. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your feedback on this episode. Likes, dislikes, comments at Runt9 Plays on Twitter, and also community Discord. All great ways to get in touch with me. In addition, please subscribe to this channel if you are interested in seeing more content like this in the future. Let's Plays, looks at, reviews, all that good stuff. I'm trying to put out more and more good content on YouTube. So, yeah. In addition, also check out my streams over on twitch.tv/Runt9Plays. Nova Drift is definitely a staple there if you don't get enough of it on YouTube. But until the next episode, I'm Runt9, and I will see you later.